This might be one of the most bonkers World Series of Poker main events I have ever witnessed, and I am so here for it.
Oh my.
Oh dear.
Tanking is something we seem to talk about pretty regularly in the poker community, and of course it reared its ugly head during this World Series of Poker main event in a couple of specific spots, one of them being Ike Haxton, who tanked for more than 6 minutes on a pay jump spot, and actually even Ike said, "Feel free to call the clock whenever you want." Some of the biggest voices in poker, including Daniel Negreanu and Igor Kurganov, had pretty specific things to say about this. And you can see even in another spot where Craig Trost versus Michael Mizrachi, with just one chip behind as basically a card protector, ends up also tanking in a spot where everyone knows he has to make this call. Just to dip our toes in the water and see how people feel about this, Rob Mizrachi put out a tweet to see whether people think it's worse to watch Ike tank for 6 minutes or the Kassouf show. This brings us to the ever-polarizing William Kassouf.
You're finished. You're ruined.
We've already seen this happen before, folks, and it is no less polarizing this year than it was in 2016. However you feel about Kassouf, it certainly created some of the most dramatic and controversial moments of this 2025 World Series of Poker. The first of which was Will Kassouf having his hand called dead because he stood up out of his seat.
Because you walked away from your seat, your hand is dead.
I'm just seeing how.
The second major event happens when Will Kassouf ultimately folds a straight and says that he was forced into doing so because of how short his time clock had been pushed to. He was forced to make decisions at this point in 10-second intervals.
I had King Jack nuts. He had Queen Nine of clubs, turned hand to into a bluff, and he got away with it. Got away with murder because they all know I'm on 10-second shot clock on every decision.
Meanwhile, the grand finale was yet to come as William Kassouf is ultimately busted by Kenny Hallert. And after he conducts an 18.5-minute long bust-out interview with Poker Go, security comes over and informs William Kassouf that he will not only be escorted to the cage by security, but he will no longer be allowed to play World Series of Poker events for the rest of the year.
Any tournaments the rest of this year.
Why?
It's the decision to make that time.
The World Poker Tour had a pretty funny and ironic post after Will Kassouf's bust, claiming that they had signed him as an ambassador, to which Matt Savage said if Will Kassouf had actually showed up at the World Poker Tour at the Venetian, he would not have been allowed to play there either. So this begs the question to you guys and to the poker community as a whole: is he being treated fairly? Is he good for the game? Does it matter?